Welcome to the second part of the book that changed my life. In this video, I'm gonna summarize the key ideas from the book that has most changed my life, the 4-Hour Workweek. This is part 2. If you have not yet watched part 1, I highly recommend you to go and watch first part 1 and then come here. The link is in the descriptions below and here. And then for the rest of the book, he talks about a 4-part method for getting to this point where you are part of the new rich, and that follows with the acronym DEAL. Now, D. D stands for define, and the idea here is that if you want to be part of the new rich, it is worth defining your fears and also defining your dreams, defining what you actually want to get out of life. And I have fully talked about D with personal examples in the first part of this video, which you should not miss. So that was D for defining. The next part of our acronym is E for eliminate. And this bit is all about eliminating the thing that take up too much of our time and don't add very much value to us. Now again, this came up 16 years ago, so a lot of these are fairly standard affairs in the productivity world. Now things like Parkinson's law, which is one of my favorite laws, which is that work expands to fill the entire time allocated to it. Next, we have the Pareto principle, which is that 80% of the results come from 20% of input. Again, the first time I heard about this was reading the 4-Hour Workweek 8 years ago or 10 years ago something, but it's now pretty standard. It's this idea that the crucial few leads to the majority of the results. So we want to be optimizing for those as much as possible. What is the 20% actions that is gonna give us the 80% of results? And I found myself using this in all sorts of areas, and especially when it comes to overcoming perfectionism in anything that I do online, in writing, in my YouTube channel or anything. And the third thing that he talks about a lot is the idea of batching. So doing tasks that are similar together. So for example, instead of doing laundry every day, you would do it like once a week or once every other week, where you can do it all in one go. That's like a really simple example, but there are so many other areas in our life where we can apply this. For example, with emails, like emails are the sort of thing that we just check basically every hour of the day. But we can batch our checking emails in the morning and evening if we really want to. And chances are nothing really important is gonna slip through the cracks. If we only check emails twice a day, it does free us up to be more productive in other areas of our life. So that is defined and eliminate. Then we have A for automate. Now this is really interesting because this is all about building a system that automates the results that you want. And it talks a lot about building a kind of internet business and how you can automate things so that either computers or other people are kind of working for you rather than you have to put in all the work and efforts yourself. And one way of doing this is, as he suggested in the book, to hire a virtual assistant. This has become more popular in the last, 15 years, but it still is kind of underrated. And I think Tim Ferriss was the first one to really mainstream and define the idea of having a virtual assistant. And that is the idea that you can pay someone to do the sort of things for you that you would rather not do yourself. And if you are paying someone in a different country, like example in South Asian countries, where if you pay them for like $5 to $6 an hour, that is absolutely huge money and like a ridiculously high salary for them, but it's also probably a lot less than you make in your own job. So therefore you can take advantage of this dual arbitrage where you can get a virtual assistant who can help you do stuff, which frees up your own time to make more money or do more of what you love to do. This is a bit controversial. Some argues about the payments and that kind of stuff, which I'm just giving the examples. Actually, I'm currently using virtual assistants in Afghanistan for my projects and for some personal business building, planning and marketing and designing stuff. They help out with designing stuff, and these days with the internet, it is fantastic. But if you are an entrepreneur or if you have a business or something and your time is worth a certain amount, you can and you should pay someone who makes less than you to take stuff off your plate. That lets you focus on most important things of your life and business. What I do with my virtual assistant. For example, my time is worth quite a lot when I sit down and film a video. My time is not worth very much when I am designing a logo or editing these videos for my few channels, which is very much time consuming. These sorts of things are things that I can very easily outsource because it frees up my own time to do high leverage things in my business. Obviously, there are caveats here. You don't want to outsource every aspect of your life. There is something to be said for doing manual labor and washing the dishes and washing clothes and stuff. Anyways, this is part of like the benefits of using virtual assistant, and I use it and I like it and I think it is very good. The second part of automating is finding a muse. This terminology hasn't really caught on in this last 15 years, but Tim Ferriss's idea of muse is like a business, a sort of lifestyle business. So a business that doesn't take too much of your time to operate, but that makes a reasonable money. And this is sort of related to the idea of passive income. The key is to find a niche market and offer a service to that market, and then build systems and people in a way that means you don't have to spend your own time in delivering that service. You just let the people do it. And then the final part of the deal acronym is L for liberate. And this is when you have got all the pins aligned up with your automate moves and your virtual assistants, and the fact that you are now 10 times more productive because of Parkinson's law and the Pareto principle and batching. And so now you can liberate yourself from the shackles of your full-time job or business. If that is what you want, or you can liberate yourself from the shackles of working in your business rather than on your business, and to an extent this is what I did a few months ago when I quit law and founded a startup and found a job that could very comfortably support my lifestyle. And again, the 4-hour work week, this idea of financial independence for me has really been my North Star for the last like 10 years, ever since I read the book. And as I was going through law school, I always had this in the back of my mind thinking, okay, my dream life is where law or IT is optional and where I can work as a lawyer if I want to, but where I don't have to. And basically all this stuff that I learned through this book and reading helped me to come to this point where I have now got these multiple streams of kind of passive income, which I am not very advanced in this so far, but these multiple muses or lifestyle businesses or whatever you want to call it. And so if you are interested in doing the same, I would recommend you to read this book because it lets you align your goals to have that kind of new rich life. Furthermore, I also listen to Tim Ferriss's podcast religiously, and he says that, you know, I wrote this book 15 years ago. I had a different style of writing, so look beyond the superficial stuff and you will find like a treasure trove of absolute gold in here. If you're not so good in reading the book and you want to check out a very good summary of it, I would recommend you to check in the descriptions below the summary in my website. I have already completed writing the summary. You can read the short summary and still can learn a lot of stuff, But I should give you a warning that reading a summary of a book is not a substitute for actually reading the book itself. But again, this is a really good book that I recommend you should read. This book has, of course, really changed my life, and the incomes and everything I have, I think it all came from this book. So if you came this far and watched up to here, thank you very, very, very much. Please hit the like and subscribe buttons for the algorithms to do the magic on my channel. And you can subscribe to my newsletter to get summaries of the books, or you can go to my website for the summaries of the books. You will see some videos out here. Click on those amazing videos and see you in the next video. Bye.